That's what I told myself during those long, sleepless nights, hunched over my desk, drowning in presentations while my marriage slowly gathered dust. I should have seen the warning signs, but ambition has a way of masking the cracks forming right beneath your feet. I was knee-deep in quarterly projections when Simon walked into my office, his presence cutting through the air like a storm rolling in. "Athena, got a minute?" The casual tone was misleading. Too calm, too measured, and I could feel the charge in his voice before I even looked up. After all, I'd worked with Simon long enough to know that whenever he spoke like that, something big was coming. Without hesitation, I closed my laptop and gave him my full attention. That's how I got here, always saying yes, always being ready. The Carson branch needs new leadership. Their numbers are in freefall, and the board wants someone who can turn it around. Simon leaned against my desk, arms crossed, eyes sharp. "I recommended you." My pulse skipped. Carson was the company's problem child, a rural outpost, set in its ways, stubbornly resistant to change. It chewed up section chiefs faster than a wood chipper, and it was 3 hours away from home. "It's a 6-month assignment," Simon continued, his eyes never leaving mine. "Success there means executive track, Athena. First female executive at Quantum, it's your shot." The words hit like a jolt of electricity. I'd spent years chasing that elusive ceiling, watching less capable men break through while I lingered in the shadows. Now, here it was, my chance to shatter it. I opened my mouth to speak, then hesitated. My husband's face flickered in my mind, the supportive smile that never quite reached his eyes, the subtle worry in his gaze that had become all too familiar. "Ryan," I began, then stopped myself. "Take the weekend," Simon interrupted, as if reading my thoughts. He pushed off the desk and turned toward the door, pausing to add one last piece of advice. "But Athena, don't let anyone else's limitations become yours." That night, I drove home with my mind spinning, my fingers white-knuckling the steering wheel. Ryan was in the kitchen when I walked in, his movements precise as he chopped vegetables, the same way he approached everything. "You're home early," he said, not looking up. "Simon offered me the Carson branch," I blurted before I could stop myself. The knife froze mid-chop. His head snapped up, and for a moment, we just stared at each other. "Carson, that's..." He set the knife down, eyes narrowing. "That's not exactly commuting distance. 6 months, executive track afterward." I stepped closer, trying to read the lines of his face. "It's everything I've been working toward, right?" He resumed chopping, harder now, the rhythm faster, almost frantic. "Of course it is, Ryan. No, I get it." His voice was tight, strained. He scraped the vegetables into a bowl with mechanical precision, avoiding my eyes. "This is your shot. You don't need my permission." But there was something hollow in his voice, a distance I couldn't ignore, as though he was reciting lines from a script he no longer believed in. "I haven't said yes yet," I offered, even though we both knew I would. He finally looked at me then, and something in his expression made my chest ache. "Yes, you have. You said yes the moment Simon walked into your office." Later that night, I lay awake listening to Ryan's measured breathing beside me. He was right. I had already decided. The question wasn't whether I would take the position, but what it would cost us. My phone buzzed with a text from Simon. "Board meeting Monday. Need your answer by then." I typed back one word. "Yes." In the dark, Ryan shifted slightly, and I wondered if he was really asleep, if he could feel the decision I'd just made vibrating through the mattress like an earthquake's first tremor. I didn't know then that I was setting in motion events that would shatter everything I thought I knew about my marriage, about Ryan, about myself. I didn't know that sometimes the path to revenge starts with a single word typed in the dark while your husband pretends to sleep beside you. I just knew that come Monday, everything would change, and part of me was already wondering if I was ready for what that really meant. The cardboard boxes mock me from their neat stack in the corner of our bedroom. Each one represents another piece of my life I'll need to compartmentalize, label, and transport to Carson. Ryan hasn't helped pack a single one. "You're really doing this?" His voice startles me as I fold another sweater. He's leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, watching me with that new distance in his eyes. "We talked about this." I keep folding, trying to ignore how my hands shake slightly. "The movers come Thursday, right?" "Thursday." He pushes off the doorframe, walks to the window. "Claire invited us for dinner tonight. Sort of a going away thing." The pause before going away carries weight I'm not ready to examine. "That's nice of her unless you're too busy packing." There it is, that edge in his voice that's become sharper lately. I set down the sweater. "No, dinner would be good. We should go." Claire's house smells like rosemary and unspoken words when we arrive. She hugs me tight, too tight, and whispers, "I made your favorite." But her smile doesn't reach her eyes. Ryan gravitates to the kitchen, where he and Claire fall into their familiar rhythm of cooking together. I watch from the doorway as they move around each other with the easy grace of siblings who grew up sharing spaces. They don't need words to communicate, a trait that used to charm me but now feels excluding. "He'll be fine, you know," Claire says later when Ryan stepped out to take a work call. "I'll keep an eye on him." I'm not abandoning him. The words come out sharper than intended. It's 6 months. Claire takes a slow sip of wine. 6 months is a long time to be alone. He's not alone. He has you, his friends, his work. That's not what I meant. She sets down her glass with deliberate care. Marriage isn't just about existing in the same space. It's about choosing each other every day. "I am choosing him," I snap. "I'm choosing our future." "Are you?" Her voice is gentle, which somehow makes it worse because, from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're choosing yourself. Ryan returns before I can respond, but Claire's words burrow under my skin like splinters. Through dinner, I watch him laugh at his sister's jokes, animated in a way he hasn't been with me in weeks. When did we start speaking different languages? Later that night, lying in bed, Ryan rolls toward me. "I've been thinking," he says to the darkness. "Maybe I could look for work in Carson. Not right away, but eventually." My heart clenches. It's the first time he suggested following me, but something in his tone sounds more like surrender than support. "Your whole client base is here," I remind him. "Your sister, your friends." "Yeah," he rolls away again. "Just a thought." The silence stretches between us like a chasm. I want to reach across it, but I'm afraid of what I might find, or worse, what I might not find. My phone buzzes. It's Simon. "Board approved the transfer package. You're all set for Monday." I stare at the message until the screen dims, then goes dark. In the reflection, I catch a glimpse of Ryan's back, rigid with consciousness. He isn't sleeping either. "Ryan?" I whisper. "Hmm? Are we okay?" The pause before his answer feels endless. Of course we are. But his voice has that same hollow quality from before, like he's reading from a script he doesn't believe in anymore. I lie there listening to him pretend to sleep and wonder if this is how cracks start, not with dramatic breaks, but with small silences that grow deeper day by day. Claire's words echo in my head. 6 months is a long time to be alone. But I'm starting to think maybe we're already alone, lying here together in the dark, each of us guarding secrets we're not ready to share. And somewhere in the back of my mind, a small voice whispers that maybe this distance isn't just about Carson anymore. Maybe it never was. Carson feels like exile. The office is a converted warehouse with flickering fluorescent lights and the constant hum of ancient heating ducts. My team, if you can call them that, greet my morning presentations with crossed arms and barely concealed eye rolls. These implementation timelines are unrealistic. Dave, my senior developer announces during our third meeting. Maybe things worked differently back at headquarters, but here, in the real world is exactly where we're losing market share. I cut in, my voice sharp enough to slice through his condescension. Unless you'd prefer to explain our numbers to corporate. The silence that follows tastes like victory, but it's hollow. Later, I catch snippets of conversation in the break room. Corporate princess and temporary assignment, spoken like curses. My phone buzzes. Ryan's weekly check-in call. I've started dreading these conversations, each one feeling more like a performance than a connection. Hey. His voice sounds distant, distracted. Bad time? No, just finished a meeting. I closed my office door, shutting out the hostile glances. How are you? Good. Busy? Claire's been helping me reorganize the house. Says it's good therapy or something. My stomach tightens. Reorganize? Yeah, making space, moving things around. A pause. It feels different here without all your stuff. The way he says it, casual, almost relieved, makes something crack inside me. Ryan, I say. Sorry, got another call coming in. Client emergency, talk next week. He hangs up before I can respond. I stare at my phone, wondering when exactly we became strangers who share a last name. That evening I work late, reviewing project timelines until my eyes burn. My mother's number flashes on my screen. I consider ignoring it, but guilt wins out. Sweetheart, she starts, and I can already hear the judgment creeping in. Claire mentioned she had dinner with Ryan last night. Again? They're siblings, Mom. They're awfully close these days. A wife should be concerned when... A wife should trust her husband. I snap, even as doubt gnaws at my certainty. Trust needs nurturing, Athena. It needs presence. After we hang up, I pull up our home security app, something I've been doing more frequently lately. The living room camera shows Claire and Ryan on the couch, takeout containers spread between them. They're laughing at something I can't hear, and the intimacy of the scene makes my chest ache. My phone pings with an email from Simon. Board meeting tomorrow. Numbers aren't improving fast enough. Need solutions. I close the security app, but not before I see Claire rest her hand on Ryan's arm, her expression full of something that looks too much like pity. The next morning, I arrive early to find my team huddled around Dave's desk, their conversation stopping abruptly when they spot me. On my desk is a PR-Ed email, an internal memo I wasn't copied on, discussing contingency plans for leadership transitions at the Carson branch. Looking for something? Dave asks from my doorway, his smile not reaching his eyes. Just admiring your dedication to printing confidential emails, I reply, holding up the paper. Interesting reading material? He shrugs, unrepentant. Thought you should know where things stand, being temporary and all. I stand slowly, squaring my shoulders. Let me be clear, Dave. I didn't come here to make friends or validate your ego. I came here to fix this branch, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, with or without your cooperation. His face darkens, but before he can respond, my phone buzzes. It's a text from Claire. We need to talk about Ryan. My hand tightens on the phone as Dave watches, waiting for me to crack. I delete the message without responding. Meeting in 10 minutes, I tell him, my voice steady despite the chaos churning inside. Bring those realistic timelines you're so fond of discussing. As he leaves, I catch my reflection in the window. Poised, professional, perfect. But underneath, something is shifting, hardening. I'm tired of being the one who bends, who compromises, who pretends not to see the cracks forming in every aspect of my life. Maybe it's time to stop playing nice. Maybe it's time to show them all exactly what this corporate princess can do when pushed too far. I'm reviewing security footage again when I notice it. Ryan started going to the community center 3 times a week, always at the same time, always dressed more carefully than usual. The camera catches him checking his reflection in the hallway mirror before leaving, a gesture so unfamiliar it makes my stomach clench. Claire's message still sits unanswered in my phone. Whatever she needs to tell me about Ryan, I'm not sure I want to hear it. My office phone rings. It's Simon. The board wants an update, presentation next week, in person. I'll be there. Make it good, Athena. There's talk about restructuring the Carson branch completely. I hang up, but the weight of his words lingers in the air. Restructuring. They've been talking about it for months, and now, it's more than just rumors. I pull up the home security app again, my mind already racing. But this time, something's different. The cameras are offline. All of them. I feel a quick stab of unease, then pick up the phone to call Ryan. It goes straight to voicemail. I text him. Security system's down. Can you check it? Hours later, I get his response. Sorry, must have unplugged something while cleaning. Cleaning? Right. Ryan, who once left dishes in the sink for 3 days, is suddenly Marie Kondo. I don't buy it for a second. I grab my keys, make the decision in a heartbeat, and drive the 3 hours home without giving him a heads up. When I arrive, the house is dark. Ryan's car is in the driveway, which is strange. He should have been here, but I didn't expect him to be home at this hour. I use my key to enter quietly, moving through the house that no longer feels like mine. There's music coming from the basement, a sound that's so out of place it makes my stomach turn. The home gym, Ryan's project that he rarely used, is the source. I pause at the top of the stairs, straining to hear. Then, I hear laughter. A woman's voice. Light. Unfamiliar. Your form is perfect, she says, her voice too sweet, too familiar, like a new level of intimacy that I've never heard between Ryan and me. You're a natural. I have a good teacher, Ryan responds, his voice warmer than I've heard in months. It's like a punch to the gut. I should go down there. Should confront whatever is happening in my basement right now, expose the lie I've been avoiding. But instead, I retreat, slowly and silently, my heart pounding in my chest. I turn around, walk back out to my car, and drive to a hotel, alone, exhausted, and broken. That night, I lie awake staring at the ceiling, running through the fragments of the life I thought I knew. I calculate exactly how many lies it takes to destroy a marriage. The answer is too many to count. The next morning, I do what any self-respecting woman would do. I investigate. The community center's website lists their classes. Tuesday and Thursday evening, mindful movement yoga with Lila Thompson. I can feel my blood simmering as I scroll through Lila's social media. She's younger than me, with the kind of effortless beauty that makes women like me buy expensive creams and hate ourselves anyway. Her latest post shows her demonstrating a complicated yoga pose, caption reading, "Finding balance in unexpected places." Blessed. I scroll down the comments, praise from strangers, encouragement from her followers. And then, my eyes land on one comment from a profile I recognize all too well. Ryan's. Thanks for showing me the way. My phone buzzes, pulling me from my thoughts. It's Claire again. Please call me, it's important. I don't hesitate. I block her number. At work, I channel everything into the presentation for the board. I'm a machine now. I dismantle Dave's excuses, restructure teams, and push through changes with the kind of ruthless efficiency that comes from having nothing left to lose. This is what happens when you hit rock bottom. You either break or you rise. And I've had enough of being broken. You're different lately, Dave comments after a particularly brutal meeting, his voice laced with uncertainty. He's not wrong. I am different. Maybe I'm just done pretending, I reply, my tone flat. There's nothing left to pretend anymore. I've seen the truth. It's all out in the open now, ugly and raw. But as I sit in the office, sifting through the details of the presentation, I realize something. I don't need to be the person I used to be. The woman who bent over backward to make everyone happy. The one who ignored the cracks in her marriage, her career, her self-worth. That woman is gone. And the new version of me? She's coming for everything I deserve. That evening, I call Ryan. He picks up on the fourth ring, his voice just a little too calm, as though he's bracing for something. Hey, everything okay? Just checking in. How's the cleaning going? Good. Yeah, really good, actually. I'm kind of in the middle of something. Yoga, maybe? There's a silence that stretches for 3 beats. I can almost feel him tense even through the phone. What? Nothing. Just noticed you've been spending a lot of time at the community center, finding balance in unexpected places. Athena! The security cameras are still down, by the way. Funny how that happened, right around the time you started getting so flexible. It's not what you think. His voice falters, the guilty edge unmistakable. Isn't it? Tell me, Ryan, does Lila know you're married, or is that something else you're being flexible about? There's a sharp intake of breath on the other end, and I hear him start to speak, but I hang up before he can say another word. My hands are steady, despite the knot tightening in my chest. I pull up my email, book a flight home for next week. Then I scroll through my contacts and stop at Henry Thompson. Prominent local businessman, Lila's father. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's about precision. I write a short email. Mr. Thompson, I believe we need to discuss a matter concerning your daughter and my husband. Would you be available for coffee next week? The response comes almost instantly. Name the time and place. I choose the cafe, the one that reeks of expensive coffee and old money. It's where power brokers and their well-tailored suits go to talk deals and keep secrets. When I arrive, Henry Thompson is already seated, his posture rigid, as though the world had folded itself around him and he was its solid center. His suit is impeccable, his expression a perfect mask of neutral authority. Everything about him screams control. Mrs. Mitchell. He stands, extending his hand, his smile as practiced as a politician's. I must admit, your email intrigued me. It's still Carter, professionally, I correct him, offering my hand in return. I accept the handshake, his fingers firm but lacking warmth. The power play is subtle, but I'm not here for pleasantries. I kept my name, of course. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Though I understand you're rarely home these days to discuss such matters with your husband. The barb lands exactly where it's meant to. But I don't flinch. Instead, I slide my phone across the table, the security footage playing silently. Ryan and Lila entering our house. The timestamps tell a story all their own. Henry's expression hardens as he watches, his jaw tightening. I see. Do you? I ask, my voice steady. Because I'm wondering if your daughter sees the whole picture. He sits back, studying me with calculating eyes. What exactly are you hoping to achieve here, Mrs. Carter? Clarity. I meet his gaze without hesitation. Your daughter is involved with a married man. My husband. I thought you should know before it affects both our families' reputations. The weight of the words hangs between us, each syllable deliberately placed, each pause sharp as a knife. Henry doesn't react immediately, but I can see the wheels turning behind his cold, professional mask. There's a flicker of something, regret, maybe, or guilt, but it's gone too quickly for me to be sure. Finally, he speaks, his voice clipped but controlled. I'll handle this. You'll handle it, I echo, the smile that plays on my lips barely concealing the contempt I feel. I'd appreciate it if you'd do so quickly. As I rise to leave, I don't look back. Let him think he's in control. I've made my move, and now it's just a matter of watching how the pieces fall. How considerate. His voice drips sarcasm. And the fact that my company recently signed a major contract with Ryan's firm has nothing to do with your concern. My phone buzzes. Claire again, this time from a different number. I silence it without looking away from Henry. I'm simply providing information. What you do with it is your choice. Later that evening, my mother calls. Claire's been trying to reach you, she says without preamble. She says it's important. I'm sure it is. I'm reviewing the board presentation, making notes with mechanical precision. Did she tell you what Ryan's been up to while I'm away? Athena! Her voice softens with pity. Sometimes when we push people away. Don't. The word comes out sharp enough to cut. Don't you dare make this my fault. I'm not, but revenge won't fix what's broken. I laugh, the sound hollow even to my own ears. Who says I want to fix it? After hanging up, I check my email. Henry's already acted. There's a company-wide announcement about a restructuring of vendor relationships. Ryan's firm is notably absent from the new approved list. My phone lights up with Ryan's call. I let it ring. Instead, I pull up the security app again. The cameras are back online. Ryan must think I've forgotten about them. I watch as he paces our living room, phone to his ear. Even without sound, I can read the tension in his movements. Lila appears in frame, reaching for him. He jerks away, gesturing angrily. She covers her face with her hands. They argue silently on my screen, like actors in a play I'm directing from afar. A new email pops up from Simon. Board presentation moved up tomorrow morning, be ready. I close the security app, but not before I see Claire enter the frame, placing herself between Ryan and Lila. Always the mediator, my sister-in-law, always trying to fix what's already shattered. My phone buzzes again, a text from an unknown number. You don't understand. It's not what you think. Please let me explain. Lila. I saved the number. It might be useful later. The presentation documents blur before my eyes as another text arrives, this time from Claire. You're making a terrible mistake. There's something you need to know about Lila. I block this number too, but her words echo in my head. What don't I understand? What mistake am I making? For a moment, doubt creeps in. Then I remember Ryan's laughter in our basement, Lila's voice floating up the stairs, the casual intimacy of their betrayal. I open my laptop and begin typing an email to Henry, attaching more security footage. Each click of the keyboard feels like another nail in the coffin of my marriage, but I keep typing anyway. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying everything at once. Sometimes it's about watching it all unravel thread by careful thread until there's nothing left but the truth. And tomorrow, after the board presentation, I'll finally go home to face that truth in person. The board presentation goes perfectly, too perfectly. Simon's approving nod, the impressed murmurs from the executives. It all feels hollow, like watching a play where I know the ending but keep pretending anyway. I drive home without calling ahead. The sun is setting when I pull into our driveway, casting long shadows across the familiar landscape of my former life. Ryan's car is there, along with another I don't recognize. Sleek, expensive, clearly new. The front door is unlocked. Music drifts from the kitchen, along with the smell of cooking and the sound of laughter. I move silently through my own house, a ghost in comfortable shoes. They don't notice me at first. Ryan's at the stove, Lila perched on our counter, my counter, wearing one of his old t-shirts. She shows him something on her phone, both of them smiling at whatever's on the screen. Cozy. My voice cuts through their bubble like a blade. They jump apart. Ryan's face drains of color. Athena, don't stop on my account. I lean against the door frame, surprising myself with how steady I feel. You seem right at home. Lila slides off the counter, her eyes wide. I should go. Why? You're already wearing his clothes. Might as well stay for dinner. This isn't... Ryan steps forward, hands raised like he's approaching a wild animal. Let me explain. Explain what? How you've been screwing your yoga instructor in our house, or how you got Henry Thompson to pull his contracts? Lila's head snaps up. You talked to my father? Someone had to tell him the truth. I smile, all teeth. Since neither of you seemed interested in that particular concept. You don't understand, Lila starts, but Ryan cuts her off. Don't, please. He turns to me, his face a mask of guilt and something else. Relief. I was going to tell you. When? After the divorce? or after you moved her into our bedroom. There was never going to be a divorce. It's Lila who speaks first, her voice no longer trembling. In fact, it's stronger now, more certain. That wasn't the plan. The word plan lands like a physical blow, slicing through the haze of disbelief that's clouding my mind. I look between them, finally seeing what I should have noticed earlier. The way they're standing side by side, not like guilty lovers caught in the act, but like conspirators. Partners in something far more sinister than I ever imagined. What plan? I manage to ask, though my voice feels distant, as if I'm watching this scene unfold from some far-off place. The front door creaks open, and Claire steps in, freezing when she sees us. "Oh God, Athena, wait!" she pleads, her voice high with panic. But I don't wait. I don't need to hear any more. I push past her, moving toward the study with a single-minded determination. The drawer where we keep our important papers is slightly ajar, as if waiting for me. I yank it open, rifling through documents until I find what I'm looking for. Our investment portfolio. Empty. Ryan's voice comes from the doorway, low and tight with guilt. I can explain. Explain? The word escapes me like a dry laugh. You emptied our accounts? My voice sounds hollow, as though it belongs to someone else, as though this is happening to someone I don't even recognize. And her? Was she part of your financial recovery plan? Ryan's gaze flickers to Lila, then back to me. She's Henry's daughter, he says, like that explains everything, like it's some grand justification for what's happened. We thought if he saw us together, if he believed we were serious. The laugh that escapes me isn't human. It's something jagged, something broken. You used me leaving as cover. All those yoga classes, all those late nights? You were orchestrating your own scandal to manipulate her father. Claire blurts out, "I tried to tell you about the company's troubles, about Ryan's plan." "Shut up!" I turn on her, my voice cold with fury. Then I focus on Lila, who at least has the decency to look ashamed. Did Daddy's money make it worth it? Playing the other woman to save Ryan's career? Lila's voice is barely a whisper, her gaze dropping to the floor. It wasn't like that. Not at first. I turn away, walking to the window, staring out at the garden I used to tend before ambition stole me away. Everything looks different now. The flowers I planted with Ryan, the paths we laid together. Hell, even the sky above our house seems changed, as though the whole world has shifted on its axis, leaving me standing in its wreckage. "Get out," I say, my voice as cold as ice. "All of you." "Athena, please," Ryan starts, his voice desperate. I whirl around, every bit of anger and betrayal crashing to the surface. I grab the nearest object, a crystal vase, our wedding gift, and hurl it against the wall. It shatters in a glorious explosion of sound, the noise like the final brutal breaking of everything, my marriage, my trust, the life we built together. They leave. I stand there, alone in the wreckage of my marriage, my trust, my carefully constructed revenge, and realize, too late, that I never saw the real betrayal coming. I was so focused on the affair, so consumed by the knowledge that my husband was sleeping with someone else, that I missed the conspiracy, the deeper betrayal happening right under my nose. My phone buzzes in my pocket, dragging me back to the present. It's Simon, congratulating me on the presentation, on my promotion, on my future. I delete the message without responding. Some victories taste like ash. For the next 3 days, I focus. I gather evidence, bank statements, email trails, security footage. Each piece fits together with painful clarity, like a puzzle I never wanted to solve but couldn't ignore. Then, I send one text. "Dinner tomorrow, your place." Ryan agrees too quickly. He doesn't even ask what for. I'm not sure if I'm doing this for revenge or closure. Either way, I'm going to get what I'm owed. When I arrive, the table is set for 4. Claire and Lila are already there, looking like guilty conspirators at a Last Supper. Ryan's wearing the blue shirt I bought him last Christmas, his hands fidgeting with a wine glass. Family dinner. I set my laptop bag on the counter. How domestic. We need to talk, Ryan starts. About everything. Yes, let's talk. I opened my laptop, turning it to face them. Let's talk about the offshore account you opened 3 months ago, or the emails between you and Henry Thompson dating back to before I left for Carson. Lila's face pales. What emails? The ones where your father agreed to pull his contract, strategically create a crisis that would force the company to accept new terms. I scroll through documents. Quite the performance, really. The devoted daughter falling for the desperate businessman. Did you practice your yoga poses between plotting sessions? It wasn't supposed to go this far, Claire interjects. Ryan just needed leverage. And you? I turned to her. Was being his lookout part of the original plan, or did that come later? I was protecting him. From what? His wife? Or his conscience? Ryan steps forward. The company was dying. Henry Thompson had us in a chokehold. I had to do something. So you orchestrated an affair with his daughter? The laugh that escapes me sounds foreign. Used our marriage as collateral? It started as a plan, Lila says quietly. But things changed. We saved it. I pull out my phone, pressing play on a recording. Henry Thompson's voice fills the room. The merger goes through next week. Once Ryan's company is absorbed, the board will need new leadership. Ryan lunges for the phone. I snatch it back, letting him see the screen, the message already forwarded to his entire board of directors. You didn't, he whispers. Didn't what? Expose your manipulation, your fraud? I turn to Lila. The fact that you helped destroy your father's reputation for a man who was using you, that's not... She stops, looking at Ryan. Something shifts in her expression. Is it the silence that follows? Is answer enough? I saved everything, I continue, my voice steady despite the trembling in my hands. Every message, every transaction, every carefully orchestrated coincidence. The board has it all now. So does the SEC. You've destroyed everything, Ryan says, but there's more fear than anger in his voice. No, you did that. I just made sure everyone could see the ruins. Claire stands suddenly. There are things you don't know, Athena, about why we had to... Had to what? I cut her off. Had to empty our accounts. Had to use me as cover for your brother's schemes. Had to watch him manipulate a woman's feelings for financial gain. I loved her, Ryan protests, but even Lila flinches at the past tense. You loved what she represented. Access, opportunity, a way out of the mess you created. I closed my laptop. But you forgot something crucial. What's that? His voice is barely a whisper. I learned manipulation from the best. I head for the door, then pause. Oh, and Ryan, check your email. The divorce papers are there, along with a detailed account of your financial misconduct. I'd sign quickly if I were you. Things tend to get complicated once federal investigations begin. You wouldn't. Claire starts, but stops when she sees my expression. I already did. I look at each of them, my husband, his sister, his accomplice. The difference between your revenge and mine? I didn't need to pretend it was love. I leave them there, surrounded by the wreckage of their carefully constructed plans. My phone buzzes with messages from the board, from Henry Thompson, from my lawyer. I ignore them all. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying everything. Sometimes it's about revealing the truth and letting it do the destroying for you. The headlines flash across my tablet screen during my morning coffee. Tech merger scandal rocks business community. Ryan's company stock has plunged. SEC investigation is ongoing. Henry Thompson has stepped down as CEO. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Can we meet? Lila. I consider ignoring it, but curiosity wins. We meet at a small cafe across town, far from the yoga studio, far from my old life. She looks different, sharper somehow, like betrayal has carved away her softness. I didn't know. she says without preamble. About any of it. The merger, the manipulation, how he used both of us. Would it have mattered if you did? She stirs her untouched coffee. I thought I was helping him, healing from losing you. Ironic, right? He never lost me. He gambled me. And now he's lost everything. She meets my eyes. Was it worth it? The revenge? I consider the question as Simon's latest email burns in my inbox. My promotion to executive vice president. The first woman to hold the position. Ask me when the SEC finishes their investigation. My father wants to make a deal, to save what's left of both companies. That's not my concern anymore. No, she agrees. But you might be interested in what I found in Ryan's emails, things even you missed. She slides a USB drive across the table. I don't take it. Why are you really here, Lila? Because you and I, we're more alike than different. We both believed in something that wasn't real. She stands, leaving the drive. The difference is, you did something about it. At home, curiosity proves stronger than caution once again. I plug in the drive, and my eyes flick over the emails, messages dating back years, chronicling Ryan's slow descent into financial manipulation. I see Claire's increasing involvement, plans within plans, all carefully hidden behind layers of deception. But it's the most recent ones that stop me cold. They're between Ryan and Claire, discussing contingency plans that would have left me taking the fall if their scheme had succeeded. My stomach tightens as I read their cold, calculated words. Plans to pin the blame on me for everything. To sacrifice me for their twisted game. The sheer audacity of it makes my head spin. Just as I'm about to process this revelation, my phone rings. It's my mother. I saw the news, she says, her voice laced with concern. Are you okay? I take a deep breath. I'm fine, I reply, surprised by the calmness in my voice. Surprisingly, I am fine. I've survived worse. Claire came to see me, my mother continues. She wanted me to convince you to drop the charges. Of course she did, I mutter, shaking my head. I told her, my daughter doesn't need convincing of anything. There's a pause. I'm proud of you, Athena. The words hit harder than I expect. It's the first time in a long while that I've heard my mother say she's proud of me. I'd never imagined it would come after the destruction of my marriage, after the raw mess of betrayal and lies. But it feels like the first bit of peace in a long time. After we hang up, I pour myself a glass of wine and open my laptop. There's an email from Ryan's lawyer, one from the SEC investigators, and another from Simon about my upcoming board presentation. But it's Lila's words that echo in my mind. We're more alike than different. I open a new email, this time addressed to Henry Thompson. Not about deals, mergers, or revenge, but about truth. His daughters, mine, all of it. Some truths deserve to be dragged into the light, even if the truth burns everyone involved. I don't want this to be some quiet, behind-the-scenes battle. If I'm going down, I'm taking the truth with me. Just as I hit send, my doorbell rings. I open it to find Claire standing there, pale and stricken. You haven't seen the whole picture, she starts, her voice shaky, but desperate. Actually, I cut her off, holding up the USB drive. I think I finally have. Her face goes white. Athena, save it for the investigators. I look at her, the weight of everything I've discovered pressing down on me. I close the door in her face, but not before adding, and Claire, tell Ryan the next time he plans to frame his wife for corporate fraud, he should probably use a better password than our wedding date. The sound of her retreating footsteps is oddly satisfying. Later, I sit in my garden, the one I'd neglected for ambition, the one Ryan used for his secret meetings, and watch the sunset. The world feels still, and for the first time in a long while, I feel grounded. The garden is full of overgrown weeds, flowers that have wilted in neglect, and paths that have grown wild with time. But there's potential there. I can see it now. A chance to start over, to rebuild something real. My phone buzzes. It's a message from Lila. Thank you for copying my father on that email. Some truths need witnesses. I don't respond, but I save her number. I don't know what this means yet, but I'm starting to realize that sometimes the strongest alliances rise from shared wreckage. The garden needs work. There are weeds to pull, flowers to replant, new seeds to sow. But this time I'll grow something different, something stronger, something that doesn't need anyone else's validation to bloom. I open my laptop again and begin typing my statement for the board. The first line reads, "Success isn't about climbing higher, it's about standing firmer." Behind me, the sun sets on my old life, and for the first time in a long time, I don't look back to watch it fade.